It was a cloudy Friday evening when my friends and I decided to go camping in the Redwood National Forest. The towering trees loomed like ancient sentinels. As we set up our tents, unease settled among us. It was quiet, too quiet. Throughout the night, shadows danced ominously, and strange rustling in the bushes made the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. Around the campfire, we shared stories, ghost encounters, and narrow escapes in the woods, laughing nervously. But one story, told by Kyle, captured our attention. It was about a mysterious figure seen wandering the forest, known as the Watcher. They said it had no face, just an endless void where its eyes should be. Every time someone spotted it, they disappeared. Kyle brushed it off, but something about the storytelling left a chill in the air. That night, I woke up abruptly to a low growl outside my tent. My heart raced. I listened intently, hoping it was just a wild animal. Just the wind, I muttered to myself. But as I nestled back into my sleeping bag, I felt an overwhelming sense of being watched. Morning arrived, and I shared my experience with the group. They laughed it off, but Susan, our nature enthusiast, brought up an unsettling point. What if the Watcher is real? She mused, her eyes darting to the dense trees that framed our campsite. What if it's warning us? Skeptical but intrigued, our group decided to take a day hike deeper into the forest, following a trail that seemed to fade into obscurity. As we ventured, the ambiance shifted. The sunlight struggled to pierce the thick canopy above. The further we went, the more disoriented I felt, as if the path was twisting around us. Then we heard it, a soft humming, almost melodic. It was haunting. "Do you hear that?" I asked, goosebumps rising on my arms. The others nodded, exchanging wary glances. Curiosity got the better of us, and we followed the sound, stepping off the worn path. The humming grew louder, the notes weaving an unsettling harmony that enveloped us. We stumbled upon a small clearing, and in the center was an old dilapidated cabin, half buried under vines. The humming seemed to emanate from within. Our curiosity morphed into dread. "Should we go inside?" Kyle dared. Before we could decide, Susan froze. "Guys, there's something behind you." We turned, but there was nothing except the trees, their gnarled branches creeping closer. "What are you talking about?" I whispered, trepidation tightening my throat. She gulped. "I can feel it. It's watching us." Panic set in. Without thinking, we bolted back toward the trail, scrambling through the underbrush. Our breaths quickened, the humming fading, replaced with our frantic footsteps. Just when I thought we'd escape, I heard a new sound, a rustling following closely behind us. Suddenly, Kyle stumbled and fell. "Go! Don't help me!" he yelled. I hesitated, glancing back, but all I could see was the chaotic dance of shadows in the trees. I screamed his name, but fear paralyzed me. My legs moved as if on their own accord. When we reached the campsite, we were shattered, gasping for breath, but we were still alive, except Kyle was nowhere to be seen. We called for him, frustration and panic mixing in our voices. "He must have gone back to the cabin," Susan panted. Just then, night began to descend, an oppressive darkness creeping around us. We gathered the courage to yell for Kyle again, our voices echoing into the void. Then, from deeper in the forest, an unnatural harmony began to rise again, but this time it was accompanied by a chilling laugh that blended seamlessly with the hum. "Help me." Kyle's voice floated back to us, distorted and echoing like it had been twisted by some unseen force. Isolated and desperate, we grasped at each other. The darkness tightened its grip, and with it, the chilling realization that the forest had consumed Kyle. I could almost picture him, standing helplessly as he became one with the ominous Watcher, a faceless guardian of the woods. We were left with the knowledge that as night fell, We too were now part of the forest, forever watched and haunted. The trees sighed, and the whispering melody continued, beckoning for the next to join the haunting chorus. The laughter faded, but echoed in the recesses of my mind, dissipating into the weighty silence that swallowed our campsite whole. Shadows enveloped us as we huddled together, fear twisting our senses. "We have to find him," I said, still reeling from the symbol of our choice. The cabin, grotesque in its solemnity, had lured us like moths to a flame. But the forest wasn't just a backdrop, it was alive, hungry. Susan shook her head, her eyes wide with terror. "What if he's gone? What if it's too late?" "We can't just leave him. He's our friend," shouted Mark, who clenched a trembling fist. But deep down, I felt the creeping despair that maybe we were already too late. The sun dipped below the horizon, and with every fading ray, the forest shifted, shadows stretching and bending as if they were alive. We decided to go back, spurred by desperation, despite the gnawing dread wrapping around our hearts, mustering strength we hadn't known we possessed. Navigating through the oppressive darkness, we retraced our steps, the path feeling more foreign under the chaotic tapestry of night. The trees loomed like jagged teeth, whispering in an unintelligible language, their bark twisting to form temporary faces that seemed to observe our every move. Then, we heard it again. The hum, a sickly sweet melody that sent chills down my spine. "Over there!" I pointed toward the cabin, its silhouette stark against the moonlight bleeding through the branches. "We have to go in. We need to know." But Susan fell back, shaking her head. "No, it's a trap. We can't." Before I could argue, I heard a faint call, faint but laced with urgency. "Help! Me!" It was Kyle. My heart leaped with despairing hope, but it was quickly snuffed out by the encroaching horror. The melody rose, an intoxicating symphony drawing us closer, wrapping around our minds, pulling at our sanity. "We go together," I asserted, voicing the silent pact made in our eyes as I gripped Susan's hand, Mark taking the other. One final glance around, and with what little courage remained, we stepped toward the cabin. The door creaked ominously as we pushed it open, the sound reverberating eerily. Inside, the air was thick with decay and something more unsettling, a mix of despair and echoing laughter, the chill of countless souls trapped within the walls. Shadows flitted around the peeling wallpaper, mocking us, and the hum grew louder, wrapping us in its clutches. "Where are you, Kyle?" I shouted, my voice trembling against the unnatural sound. "Help!" Kyle's voice came again, this time clearer, more desperate, but from nowhere near us. From the upstairs, I realized with sickening clarity. We climbed the creaking stairs, each step a reminder of the weight of our decisions, the dread pooling in our stomachs. Reaching the second floor, we stepped into a long hallway cloaked in darkness, the walls adorned with vague shapes. Could they be faces? Their mouths open in silent screams. "No!" Susan cried out, an unnatural force pulling her back. I reached for her, but it was too late. She stumbled, sinking into the shadows as they undulated beneath her feet, swallowing her whole with a twisted grin. "Run!" I screamed at Mark, but my voice broke with horror as Susan's terrified eyes met mine, momentarily trapped in the void. The melody surged around us, now a cacophony, drowning out our own cries. Despair drove us forward, pushing through swirling darkness toward the source of Kyle's voice. His pleas mingled with the creeping laughter, distorting our sense of direction. As we neared a door at the end of the hallway, I could almost feel the tendrils of the forest stretching in, ready to consume all sense of hope. Pushing the door open, I expected to find my friend. My heart plummeted. The room was empty, except for an old mirror, cracked and tarnished, the surface showing not reflections, but a lingering hollow void. And then we saw them, shadows crawling across the mirror's surface, another dimension trapped in its glass. Help! Me! Kyle's image flickered in the mirror, his expression contorted in fear, hands pressed against the glass as if trying to reach out. No! I stumbled back, the realization dawning. It wasn't just the Watcher lurking in the forest. It was a dimension we were holding the key to, a place where nightmares flowed into reality, endlessly searching for new souls. The knob rattled behind us. Mark was too paralyzed to respond. I reached for him to flee, but when I turned, the figure was there, the Watcher, a void sorry of darkness where its face should be, swirling with infinite depth. Join us, it hissed, the word a haunting echo that sparked my soul's deepest terror. And then I understood. The stories were the Watcher's bait, the forest a trap for the unwary. In a moment of fevered desperation, I lunged for the mirror, reflexively trying to shove Kyle's shadow back into it, only for my hands to freeze against the cold surface, pulling away as if it burned. Help! Kyle's voice persisted, now merging with the hollow sounds of the Watcher. Unable to bear the weight of despair, my heart cracked inside my chest. I turned to Mark, who had somehow been lost in the horror. We have to escape. Now! We ran back, but the cabin itself twisted and shifted, transforming endlessly before us, the very layout changing, denying us any route back to the safety of the surrounding forest. I felt a thick mist enveloping us, tendrils creeping into our minds, echoing laughter danced in our ears. It beckoned us to give in, to become one with the forest. Together, Mark asked, terror mixing with a strange resignation. Together, I replied, though deep within, I feared we were already too late. As the darkness closed around us, I saw through the piercing mist that there were others standing behind the Watcher. Susan, Kyle, all faces of the lost, watching, waiting, warning. And then we were pulled into the void, joining them. The melody swelled, embracing our screams as the forest welcomed its new captives and whispered sweetly, "You are now one with us. Forever the guardians of secrets buried deep within, forever haunted, forever watchers."